And welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I've talked a lot recently about stuff I picked up at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, either last year or the year before, and it's inspired me to actually try out one of the games and also one of the pieces of hardware I got at last year's expo. And it's really good, but it's a little bit tricky to wrap your head around, so I thought I'd do a video about it. The game, as you can see, is Breakout. Here's the case for it. This is for the PlayStation 1. And I really love Breakout on the Atari 2600. There's the Atari logo there. And I just thought, well, since the PlayStation has that NeGcon steering wheel controller, it would be great if this Breakout game, which is all 3D-ified, uses that controller. I know on the back here, it does show a whole bunch of different control schemes, including the analog support. So I thought, great, that means it'll work with the NeGcon. Unfortunately, it doesn't, and that's a bit of a bummer. But what it does support, right here in the corner, is this thing. The PlayStation mouse. And it's actually quite a good control scheme for it. So I thought I'd just show off some gameplay here. Now, the Breakout game here is kind of neat. You move, or your main character is the little stick figure, the paddle, if you will, that bounces the ball around. You can see there's a few of them there all playing some kind of weird volleyball game. You're actually one of those little characters. So let's fire up the single player here and show you what it's like. I've turned the music down because, copyright strikes and all that kind of stuff. The music's actually very good. It's got this nice kind of beach Jamaican vibe to it. And here we have the story that talks about how your character, the little red paddle, is going to go get the ball that was lost for your pink girlfriend. Kind of very odd, but abstract, given that you're just playing these little paddle characters. And off you go. And I'll cut it short here. Essentially what happens is you actually end up going to prison. So your first task in the adventure here is to break out of prison, in exactly the way you would imagine. You have to get the bricks at the end of the wall there to be broken off. So let me show you what this moves like. And you get a little training session here. Coach Steele is going to show you how to use the ball, and we'll just continue on here. So basically, as you would imagine, it's a breakout game, so I just want to hit the balls, send them back the way they go. Very straightforward for this part, but there are some parts of using the mouse as a controller that are kind of difficult, which I'll get to in a second. I just need to return 10 of these in order to successfully pass this part of the tutorial. Essentially, all I want to do here is hit these crates. My character is a little more bent in shape this time. Now this is the tricky part. This one took me a long time to figure out. This is slicing the ball, and I think when you're using the standard controller, this guy here, you actually use a button to choose how you hit the angle, or it sort of adjusts what the paddle character looks like. With the mouse, that's not so easy to do. So what they've decided to do is basically you want to move the mouse just as you're hitting the ball. As it says here, move the bat left to angle the ball right, and move right to angle the ball left. And this one took me a long time to actually figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do, and I'll show you here as I play. Again, I think this is strictly when using the mouse as a controller. So this time around, what I want to do is move away from the... Oops, okay, that's too much. Move away from the ball, like that. You just want to put some English on it, as they say. And it's sometimes very difficult to get this angle right. And again, if you don't move the ball, if you just sort of, that's what happens. It just goes in a straight line. You need to actually move away at the last second so that you are, oop, too far. You are slicing the ball like that. Anyway, so we did it. So that's essentially the tutorial done. Now my little paddle character's got a couple of crates holding him in place, and all I do is sort of wiggle the mouse back and forth to angle the shots and take out 4 of the 6 crates that come here. So as you can see, I'm stuck in this little, I have these 2 boxes holding me in place. If I just angle myself just right, I can get, there we go, got 4 of them, see if we can get 6. Good enough. And then it gives you a ranking. Now this is kind of interesting. It says, given how well I did, I'm a novice, but I can move up and down the list using the mouse here to choose easier or harder levels. I'll stick with novice. I find that's actually how you would, that's how it rates, like if you're going to die. Later on in the game, there's a level coming up, I'll show you, that really is tough to get through. And as I failed and failed and failed, I dropped down. Like I think I started off at the, I think it was Challenger first. And when I failed, it then bumped me down to Amateur and then down to Novice. So this is kind of how you are ranked and also how many, in a way, how many lives you have left. Anyway, let's continue along Novice level here. So now I just want to break out of jail. I mean, they've done the tutorial. Now I'm actually playing the game properly. I'm hitting the ball and getting out. And essentially it's just different 3D-ified scenarios using the breakout idea. I mean, there's ones where you're, I've seen online, you're herding sheep and doing all kinds of different variations on this theme. I think it's a really cute game. Unfortunately, the level I'm going to show you in a minute, well, there we go, he's gotten away. And so now, what I want to do is, again, that same idea, but on a larger scale. And now there's little pickups. The blue are good. What does this one do? Oh, that turns me into kind of an arrowhead shape. The red ones are bad. You don't want to pick them up. Another good green one, blue one there. Let's do that angle. There you go. See, it'll split it into 2. And that's making it quicker. Let's see what happens when we get that green one. Oh, we missed it. I don't want the red. I do not want the red. Okay, well, he's coming toward me, but I'll just avoid him. They do things like make your paddle smaller and slower, the usual kind of negatives you can imagine in a breakout game. Oh, I missed it. I think I hit the actual back fence there enough times to not have to break all the other blocks. Now this is the hard level, and this is tricky to figure out. You want to run from the wolf. How do you run from the wolf? You actually hold down the button, and you also want to line it up. You see how there were some like snowballs there that are, yeah, you want to get those little bricks there. Okay, now I'm actually playing. So I'm holding the button down, and I want to pick up the rocks. And if I let go of the rock, it'll hit the wolf. Okay, so here comes the wolf. I want to line up so that I get one of those stones on the side of the screen, like that, and then let go of it by tapping my button again. But I tell you, this is very hard. Grab a stone. Hit him. Oh, I missed that one. Oh, he's gonna get me. Okay. Stone, hit him. Stone, hit him. Okay, to be perfectly honest, that's the first time I actually got through that level, so we're now in a part of the game that I don't know anything about. Let's proceed. Evil lurks inside this pyramid. Alright, well, let's take him on. I don't know what yellow does. Oh, it made me bigger. Well, this is kind of interesting. You're actually experiencing this for the first time with me. I've never actually been this far in the game before. I'm doing really well. I'm noticing the bricks behind me are wiggling like they don't want to get hit. Oh, I did it. And now I've gone up to expert level. I'm assuming I want to hit those red laser magic bricks there. Oh dear. Okay, so I did badly there. I went down. You see how his little face was kind of shaking its head? Alright, well, I think I'm going to leave it there. That's actually the farthest I've ever gotten in the game. I was well prepared to just say, well, this is how you get past the wolf level, never really expecting to do so, because I've had a heck of a time getting past that wolf. And now, of course, that the cameras are rolling, I got past it and I just breezed through no problem at all. So that shows how much, that shows how hard it has been since I first got this game. Anyway, yeah, that is Breakout for the PlayStation 1 using the PlayStation mouse. Definitely a good way to go, because with this type of control scheme or a game like Breakout where you need to move the paddle back and forth, it's really a good idea to have something like, in this case, the mouse. I wish it had worked with the NeGcon. I think that would have been just an obvious pairing, but clearly it doesn't, because I've hooked up the NeGcon to the PlayStation and it doesn't work. I don't really understand that. But now that I'm through this level, I'm going to save my progress, and yeah, I'm going to play more of this, because I didn't ever get past that wolf level before. All right, well, there we go. Until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.